You're tired, so deeply tired, the kind of tired that sleep alone can't fix, the kind of tired that lives in your bones, in your soul, in the very core of who you are. And tonight, as darkness settles over the world, as the day finally releases its grip, you find yourself here, in this sacred space, where striving ends, where effort ceases, where rest begins. Picture yourself now, sitting on soft grass beside a gentle fire, the flames dancing low and peaceful, casting warm golden light across a tranquil meadow. Rolling hills stretch into the distance, painted in shades of purple and blue by the fading twilight. And there, beside you, closer than your next breath, sits Jesus, the one who knows your tiredness, who understands your exhaustion, who sees how hard you've been trying, how much you've been carrying, how long you've been running on empty. He's wearing robes of deep burgundy that seem to absorb the firelight, and his eyes. Oh, his eyes, they're full of such compassion, such tenderness, such understanding. He looks at you and he sees, not your productivity, not your accomplishments, not what you've done, or failed to do, but you, just you, tired, weary, exhausted, and beloved, so deeply beloved. The warmth from the fire reaches your face, your hands, your chest, and you feel it beginning to thaw something that's been frozen inside you for so long. The constant push, the relentless drive, the exhausting need to keep going, keep trying, keep performing. It's all beginning to melt, slowly, gently, like ice in spring sunshine. You can smell the wood smoke, sweet and clean, mingling with the scent of evening grass, wildflowers closing for the night, earth breathing its twilight breath. And you breathe too, perhaps for the first time today. Really breathe deep into your belly, filling your lungs completely, and then releasing, letting go, surrendering the day, surrendering the effort, surrendering the tiredness itself. Just for now, just for tonight. Jesus reaches out and places his hand on your shoulder, and the weight of his touch is somehow both grounding and lifting at the same time. I see you, he says softly, his voice like honey, like home, like everything you've been longing for without knowing it. I see how tired you are, how hard you've been working, how much you've been carrying. And I want you to know, tonight you can stop. You don't have to try anymore. You don't have to be strong anymore. You don't have to keep going anymore. Tonight, you can simply rest, in me, with me, as my beloved child, who needs nothing but sleep and love. And with those words, something in you breaks open. Not painfully, but like a dam releasing water. It was never meant to hold forever, and you feel tears beginning. Tears of exhaustion, tears of relief, tears of finally, being given permission to stop. And Jesus doesn't pull away, doesn't tell you to be strong, doesn't shame your tears. Instead, he moves closer, wraps his arm around your shoulders, and lets you lean against him, your head resting on his chest. And you can hear his heartbeat, steady, sure, untroubled, and somehow, gradually, your own heartbeat begins to sync with his, slowing, steadying, calming. Let me tell you something, he whispers, and you feel his words vibrating through his chest, into your ear. Something you need to hear tonight, something that might change everything. You are allowed to be tired. Being tired doesn't mean you're weak, doesn't mean you're failing, doesn't mean you're less than. Being tired means you're human, beautifully, wonderfully, preciously human. And I love you in your tiredness, just as much as I love you in your strength, maybe even more. Because in your tiredness, you stop pretending, you stop performing, you stop trying to be enough. And you just are. And that, beloved, that is when I can truly hold you. When your hands are too tired to hold on, that's when mine hold you best. Your body begins to soften against him. Muscles you didn't know were clenched, starting to release, shoulders dropping, jaw unclenching, forehead smoothing. And as you settle deeper into his embrace, you hear him begin to speak words from ancient scripture, words that have brought rest to the weary for thousands of years. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And yes, that's you, laboring, heavy laden, in desperate need of rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. rest unto your souls, not just your body, but the deepest part of you, the part that's been so tired for so long. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Easy, light, the opposite of how everything has felt, the opposite of the weight you've been carrying, the opposite of the exhaustion that's been crushing you. Jesus shifts slightly so he can look into your eyes, and his gaze is so gentle, so patient, so completely devoid of judgment or expectation. These words I spoke to people just like you, people who were working so hard, trying so hard, carrying so much, people who thought they had to earn rest, had to deserve peace, had to accomplish enough before they could stop. But I'm telling you, I'm telling them, I'm telling everyone who will listen, come, just come. You don't have to fix yourself first, don't have to clean yourself up, don't have to accomplish one more thing, just come, as you are, tired as you are, weary as you are, depleted as you are. Come, and I will give you rest. He pauses, letting those words sink deep, settle low, take root in the exhausted soil of your soul. Notice I said I will give you rest, not you must earn rest, not you might find rest, if you try hard enough, but I will give. It's a gift, freely offered, already prepared, waiting for you to receive. You don't work for a gift, you don't earn a gift, you simply open your hands, open your heart, and receive. And as he speaks, you feel your hands, which have been clenched for so long, beginning to open, palms up, releasing, letting go of control, letting go of effort, letting go of the exhausting need to manage everything, hold everything, fix everything. And in that opening, in that release, space is created, space for something new, space for rest, space for peace, space for God. Take my yoke upon you, Jesus continues, his thumb gently stroking your shoulder in a rhythm like a heartbeat, like waves, like breathing. A yoke is for work, for pulling, for burden bearing. I'm not saying work will disappear, not promising that responsibility will vanish, but I am offering, inviting, pleading with you to work with me instead of alone, to share the yoke instead of carrying it solo. And here's what you need to understand. In any yoke, in any partnership, one partner is always stronger, carries more weight, does more pulling. Here's always stronger, carries more weight, does more pulling. And beloved, that stronger partner, that's me. You're not the ox pulling the cart alone anymore. You're the smaller ox, the younger ox, the learning ox, walking alongside me, and I am carrying almost all of the weight. You're just walking, staying connected, moving at my pace, and my pace, it's so much slower than yours has been, so much gentler, so much more sustainable, so much more restful. Even the word feels like cool water on parched ground, like shade on a burning day, like sitting down after standing too long. Restful. Learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, he says. And there's something in his voice now, something vulnerable, something inviting. Meek, not weak, but meek, gentle, humble, not demanding, not harsh, not pushing you beyond what you can bear. Meek, gentle, humble, not demanding, not harsh, not pushing you beyond what you can bear. Meek, I don't drive you, I lead you, I don't exhaust you, I sustain you, I don't deplete you, I replenish you. Learn of me, watch how I rest, observe how I retreat, notice how I say no, see how I prioritize, copy how I trust the Father, and this is the promise, the guarantee, the certain result, ye shall find rest unto your souls. Rest unto your souls. The words echo in the twilight, carried on the smoke from the fire, lifted on the evening breeze. Rest unto your souls. Not superficial rest, not just physical rest, not merely mental rest, but soul rest. The deepest kind, the most satisfying kind, the most desperately needed kind. Rest in the very core of who you are. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Jesus concludes, and then he does something unexpected. He laughs, softly, gently, joyfully. I know what you're thinking, he says. You're thinking easy, light. Nothing about my life feels easy or light. And you're right. Your current yoke, the one you've been carrying, the one the world gave you, the one you picked up thinking you had to, that yoke is heavy, exhausting, crushing. But my yoke, the one I'm offering, the one designed specifically for you, fitted perfectly to your frame, balanced ideally for your stride. My yoke is easy. My burden is light, not because there's no work, not because there's no responsibility, but because I'm carrying it with you. Actually, if I'm honest, I'm carrying most of it. You're just coming along for the walk, learning, growing, resting, even while moving forward. And somehow, in this moment, you begin to believe it might actually be true, that rest is possible, that exhaustion isn't permanent, that you don't have to keep running on empty, that there's another way, a better way, His way, the way of the easy yoke, the light burden, the restful soul. Your eyes grow heavy, weighted with the tiredness you've been fighting all day, all week, maybe all year. And this time, for the first time in so long, you don't fight it, you don't force them open, you don't push through, you just let them close. And in the darkness behind your eyelids, you see not blackness but light. Warm, golden, soft, the light of Christ, illuminating, healing, restoring. Jesus adjusts His position, and you with Him, until you're lying down, your head resting on His lap, His hand gently stroking your hair. And the sensation is so comforting, so soothing, so exactly what you needed, without knowing you needed it. There, He murmurs. That's better. Now you can really rest, really let go, really receive what I'm offering. And you can feel the grass beneath you, soft and cool, the earth solid and steady, holding you, supporting you, bearing your weight without complaint, without exhaustion, without limit, just as God holds you, supports you, bears you, forever. The fire crackles softly, sending up tiny sparks that rise, rise into the deepening night. And you watch them through half-closed eyes, watching them ascend, release, disappear. And you think, yes, that's what I need to rise, release, disappear, into rest, into peace, into God. Let me tell you another truth, Jesus says, His voice barely above a whisper now, intimate, personal, just for you. A truth about rest, that the world doesn't understand, that even my followers often forget. Rest is not earned. Rest is received. Rest is not a reward for productivity. Rest is a gift of grace. Rest is not something you get to after you've done enough. Rest is where you begin, where you return, where you dwell, always available, always offered, always yours, always yours. Rest is always yours. Rest is always yours. Not sometimes, not conditionally, not after you've proven yourself worthy, but always right now, even now, especially now. The world tells you to push harder, try harder, do more, be more, produce more. The world measures your worth by your output, your value by your productivity, your significance by your exhaustion. But I measure you differently. I see you differently. I love you differently. To me, your worth is infinite. Simply because you exist. Simply because I made you. Simply because I love you. You don't have to do anything to increase your value to me. You couldn't if you tried. You're already at maximum belovedness, maximum preciousness, maximum worth. You can't earn more of my love by working harder, and you can't lose any of my love by resting. In fact, beloved, when you rest, when you trust me enough to stop, to cease, to simply be, that's when I delight in you most. That's when our relationship is most real, most intimate, most true, and something in you, something deep and tired and skeptical, begins to soften, begins to believe, begins to hope that maybe, just maybe, you really can rest, really are allowed to rest, really are invited to rest, without guilt, without shame, without fear of falling behind, or letting people down or losing ground. Maybe rest really is a gift. Maybe exhaustion really isn't a badge of honor. Maybe being tired really isn't the same as being faithful. Maybe there's another way. Your breathing has slowed now, deepened each inhale, bringing in cool evening air, each exhale releasing the day, the stress, the striving, the exhaustion itself. In peace flows, out, tiredness flows, in rest arrives, out, weariness departs, in God's strength, out, may depletion, Dad's strength, out my depletion. And with each breath, each exchange, you feel the transaction happening, His fullness for your emptiness, His energy for your exhaustion, His rest for your weariness. breath by breath, moment by moment, heartbeat by heartbeat. Now Jesus begins to speak another passage, and his voice takes on a different quality, deeper, more ancient, more authoritative. In peace I will both lie down and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. And the words land on you like a blanket, like a covering, like a promise made tangible, in peace, not in anxiety, not in worry, not in restless tossing and turning, but in peace. I will both lie down and sleep. Two actions, two choices, two surrenders. First, lying down, stopping, ceasing activity, choosing horizontal instead of vertical, choosing rest instead of motion, and then sleep. The deeper surrender, the fuller release, the complete trust. Sleep, where you have no control, no awareness, no ability to manage or fix or handle anything. Sleep, the ultimate act of faith, the ultimate demonstration of trust, the ultimate expression of rest. Jesus pauses, his hand still moving through your hair in that soothing rhythm, and you feel yourself drifting, floating, suspended between waking and sleeping, between consciousness and dreams, between effort and surrender. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. This is why we can sleep. This is why we can rest. This is why we can stop. Not because everything is perfect. Not because all problems are solved. Not because every threat is eliminated. But because you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. You do the protecting. You do the watching. You do the guarding. I can sleep. Because you don't, I can rest. Because you don't, I can rest. Because you don't need to. I can cease. Because you never cease. My rest is possible. Because of your faithfulness. My peace is sustainable. Because of your watchfulness. My sleep is safe. Because of your love. And as these words wash over you, through you, into you, you feel something fundamental shifting, some deep belief you didn't know you held, beginning to change, the belief that you have to stay vigilant, have to keep watch, have to maintain control. It's loosening, weakening, dissolving in the presence of this greater truth. God is watching, God is guarding, God is protecting. You don't have to, you were never meant to. You can rest, you can sleep, you can stop, and it will be okay, more than okay. It will be exactly as it should be, because God's got this, God's you. God's got everything. You alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety, Jesus repeats. And this time he speaks it over you like a benediction, like a blessing, like a spell of protection, woven with words of truth. You alone, not you and your effort, not you and your vigilance, not you and your constant striving, but you alone, Lord, sovereign, mighty, faithful. You alone, make me dwell, not just visit, not just pass through, but dwell, lull, abide, remain, stay continually, permanently, enduringly in safety, secure, protected, guarded, kept, held, watched over, never alone, never abandoned, never at risk, because you alone, are making me dwell in safety. Dwell in safety. The phrase becomes a rhythm in your mind, a heartbeat in your chest, a breath in your lungs. Dwell in safety, dwell in safety, dwell in safety, over and over, sinking deeper, taking root, becoming foundation, becoming truth, becoming reality. Jesus shifts again, and you feel yourself being gathered up, lifted gently, cradled like a child, and he stands, holding you easily, effortlessly, and begins to walk, slowly, steadily, around the fire, around the meadow, under the emerging stars, and with each step he takes, you feel more secure, more held, more completely at rest. This is what I do with you, he says softly, speaking more to himself than to you. But you hear it anyway, absorb it anyway, believe it anyway. I carry you when you're too tired to walk. I hold you when you're too weary to stand. I bear you when you're too exhausted to go on. This is what love does. This is what I do. This is who I am, the one who carries the weary, who holds the exhausted, who bears the depleted. You're never too heavy for me, never too much, never too tired. I've got you. I've always had you. I will always have you. And being held like this, carried like this, loved like this, you feel something you haven't felt in so long. You feel small, but not in a diminishing way, in a freeing way, small like a child, small like one who doesn't have to have all the answers. Small like one who doesn't have to carry all the weight. Small like one who is allowed to be tired, allowed to need help, allowed to rest. Small, and somehow in that smallness, you feel larger than you have in years, more yourself than you've been in months, more whole than you've felt in forever, because you're finally letting yourself be held, be carried, be loved, without trying to reciprocate, without trying to earn it, without trying to be less tired than you are. After walking for a while, maybe minutes, maybe hours, time has become meaningless here, unimportant, irrelevant. Jesus returns to the fire and gently, so gently, lays you back down. This time on something soft, you're not sure what, maybe grass that's become a bed, maybe clouds that have descended to earth, maybe angel wings spread beneath you. Whatever it is, it's the most comfortable thing you've ever felt, perfectly supporting every part of your body, perfectly conforming to your shape, perfectly bearing your weight. And Jesus sits beside you again, his hand finding yours, holding it loosely, and you feel his pulse through his palm, steady, strong, alive. Now I want to tell you about tomorrow, he says. And your eyes open slightly, a flicker of anxiety, trying to surface tomorrow, with all its demands, all its expectations, all its exhaustion, waiting to begin again. But Jesus squeezes your hand gently. No, don't tense, don't worry, just listen. Tomorrow, when you wake, you're not going to wake to the same exhaustion. Oh, you'll still be tired. Healing takes time. Rest is a journey, not a destination. But you're going to wake different. You're going to wake remembering this moment, this place, this truth, that you are held, that you are loved, that you are not alone in the carrying. And when the day begins to pile demands on you again, when you feel the weariness starting to build, when exhaustion begins to whisper that you can't keep going, you're going to remember that you can pause, can breathe, can return to this place, this fire, this rest, anytime, anywhere. It's not a location you visit once, it's a reality you can access always. Me, I am your rest, I am your peace, I am your strength, and I'm always available, accessible, present. Present, the word hangs in the air like a star, like a promise, like a person, present. God is present, not was, not will be, but eyes, right now, this moment, always. And another thing about tomorrow, Jesus continues, and his voice is like a lullaby now, rhythmic, soothing, hypnotic, in the best way. Tomorrow you're going to practice something new, something countercultural, something revolutionary. You're going to practice not doing everything, not saying yes to everything, not being everything to everyone. You're going to practice boundaries, practice selectivity, practice the holy art of no, because beloved, not everything that demands your energy deserves your energy. Not every opportunity is your opportunity. Not every need is yours to meet. You are not infinite. You are not unlimited. You are not superhuman. You are beautifully, wonderfully, preciously human, with human limitations, human needs, human exhaustion. And that's not a flaw. That's not a failure. That's design. That's how I made you, with built-in limits that force you to trust me, force you to depend on me, force you to rest in me. And hearing this, receiving this permission, being given this freedom, something in your chest expands, opens, releases, the prison of unlimited obligation, the cage of constant availability, the trap of endless productivity. It's opening, and you're stepping out, stepping into something spacious, something breathable, something restful. You don't have to do it all, Jesus whispers, and it sounds like the most radical thing you've ever heard, more radical than any theology, any doctrine, any religious teaching. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to be it all. You don't have to fix it all. You don't have to carry it all. There's only one who does it all, bears it all, carries it all. And beloved, that's not you, that's me. And I'm not asking you to be me. I'm asking you to let me be me, to let me do what only I can do, to let me carry what only I can carry, while you do what I created you specifically to do, and rest in everything else. Your whole body has melted now, become liquid, become weightless, become held by something greater than gravity, held by grace, held by love, held by God. And Jesus begins to hum, a melody without words, ancient and new all at once, and the sound vibrates through you, resonates in your bones, harmonizes with your heartbeat, and you find yourself humming back, or maybe just breathing along, matching the rhythm, the frequency, the vibration of rest, of peace, of home. And now another passage rises, floating up from depths you didn't know existed, carried on breath that isn't yours, but is given to you. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increaseth strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run, and not be weary, and they shall walk, and not faint. The words land like rain on dry ground, soaking in, saturating, bringing life to places that have been parched, depleted, exhausted for so long. He giveth power to the faint. Jesus speaks over you, his voice carrying the weight of divine authority, the tenderness of infinite love. Notice, he doesn't giveth power to the strong, to those who have it figured out, to those who are managing just fine. No, he giveth power to the faint, to the barely hanging on, to the running on empty, to the can't do this anymore, to the faint. That's who receives power, that's who gets strength, that's who is given what they need. And you realize that's you, faint, barely hanging on, running on empty, can't do this anymore. And instead of being shameful, instead of being failure, it's actually positioning to receive, positioning to be filled, positioning to experience God's power in a way the self-sufficient never can. And to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Jesus continues, and there's something almost celebratory in his voice, like he's happy about this, excited about this, delighted by this. No might, zero strength, completely depleted, absolutely exhausted. To them, to you, he increaseth strength. He doesn't just give strength, he increases it, multiplies it, expands it, magnifies it. You start with nothing, and he makes it something. You begin with empty, and he fills it to overflowing. You come with exhaustion, and he transforms it into energy. This is what he does. This is who he is. This is his specialty, taking nothing and making it something, taking weakness and making it strength, taking tiredness and making it rest, and then energy, and then power. And you want to believe this, want to receive this, want to experience this. But part of you whispers, but I've been tired so long, but I've been empty so long, but I've been running on nothing so long. Can he really fill this emptiness, restore this exhaustion, renew this weariness? Yes, Jesus says, as if he heard your unspoken doubt, your quiet question, your hesitant hope. Yes, I really can, I really will, I really am, right now, even now, especially now, even now, especially now, even now, especially now, not later, not someday, not when you're more worthy, or less tired, or better somehow, but now, even now, especially now, in your exhaustion, in your depletion, in your faintness, right here, right now. God is giving power, increasing strength, renewing your life. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. Jesus speaks the next part, and there's something almost comforting in these words, something normalizing, something validating. Even the youths, the strong ones, the energetic ones, the ones who seem tireless, even they faint, even they grow weary. Even the young men, in their prime, at their peak, with all their natural strength and vigor, even they utterly fall, utterly, completely, absolutely, fall, which means, beloved, which means that your tiredness doesn't mean you're defective, your exhaustion doesn't mean you're failing, your weariness doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human, it means you're human, it means you're normal, it means you're exactly like everyone else. Even the youths, even the young men, everyone gets tired, everyone grows weary, everyone needs rest. You're not broken, you're not flawed, you're not less than, you're human, beautifully, wonderfully, preciously human. And this permission, this validation, this normalization of your exhaustion, it does something in you, loosens something, frees something, allows something. You're not broken, you're human, you're not failing, you're finite, you're not weak, You're in need. And being in need, that's not shameful. That's human. That's human. That's normal. That's the design. Because in the need, in the emptiness, in the exhaustion, there's space for God. There's room for His power. There's opportunity for His strength. Your weakness, it's not the problem. It's the doorway, the pathway, the entrance through which God's power flows. But they that wait upon the Lord, Jesus continues. And He emphasizes the word wait, stretching it out, giving it weight, giving it meaning. Wait, not work, not strive, not push, not produce, but wait, rest in, trust in, depend on, rely on, hope in the Lord. They that wait upon the Lord, they that stop trying to generate their own strength, stop attempting to manufacture their own energy, stop striving to produce their own power, they that simply, humbly, honestly, wait upon the Lord, they are the ones who shall renew their strength, shall renew, future tense, promise tense, certainty tense, not might renew, not could possibly renew, but shall renew, guaranteed, promised, assured, certain, their strength, your strength, shall be renewed, not replaced with artificial energy, not propped up with false vigor, but genuinely renewed, truly restored, authentically refreshed, renewed, made new again, given fresh start, supplied with real strength, not temporary, not superficial, but deep, lasting, real. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. And as Jesus speaks these words, you feel something like a lifting, like a lightness, like gravity, releasing its grip, just a bit. Mount up, rise up, ascend, not by your own power, not by flapping harder, not by trying more, but by catching the wind, the current, the updraft of God's Spirit. Eagles don't generate the lift that carries them. They find it, they wait for it, they trust it, and then they soar, effortlessly, gracefully, powerfully, not because they're working hard, but because they're working smart, because they're cooperating with forces greater than themselves, because they're waiting on the wind, waiting on the Lord. And beloved, you too can mount up with wings, as eagles, can rise above the exhaustion, can soar over the weariness, not by trying harder, but by waiting better, waiting longer, waiting more trustingly, upon the Lord. They shall run, and not be weary, Jesus says, and you almost laugh, because running sounds impossible right now. Running sounds like the last thing you could do. But He continues, and they shall walk, and not faint. Notice the order, first mounting up, soaring, flying, then running, moving fast, covering ground, and finally walking, steady, sustainable, ongoing. And in none of these, in none, is there weariness or fainting. Not because the activity is easy, not because the journey is short, but because the strength is not yours. It's His. It's given. It's supplied. It's renewed. Constantly. Consistently. Continually. As long as you wait upon the Lord. And something in you begins to hope, begins to believe, begins to imagine that maybe tomorrow won't be another day of exhausted survival. Maybe tomorrow could be different. Maybe renewal really is possible. Maybe waiting really does work. Maybe God really will, really can, really is giving you His strength, His power, His energy, to replace your exhaustion, your depletion, your weariness. Maybe. The stars are fully visible now, thousands upon thousands scattered across the velvet night. And Jesus points upward. See those stars? Every single one. I placed there. I named them. I maintain them. I keep them burning. Keep them positioned. Keep them shining. And you know what? It doesn't exhaust me. It doesn't deplete me. It doesn't tire me at all. Because I am infinite. I am unlimited. I am inexhaustible. And this same power, this same strength, this same infinite energy, is available to you. Not because you've earned it, not because you deserve it, but because you're mine, because I love you, because your exhaustion moves my heart, and I long, I ache, I yearn, to fill your emptiness with my fullness, to replace your tiredness with my rest, to exchange your weakness for my strength. Jesus lies down beside you, now, on His side, facing you, His hand still holding yours, His eyes still full of that infinite compassion, that endless love. I want to teach you something, He says softly, something about how to handle exhaustion when it comes, because it will come again. Being human means getting tired, but you don't have to let it crush you. Don't have to let it define you. Don't have to let it convince you that you're failing. You listen, hungry for this wisdom, desperate for this truth, when you feel exhaustion rising, when tiredness starts to overwhelm, when you realize you're running on empty. The first thing, the most important thing, is to stop, just stop. Not in 5 minutes, not after one more task, but now, immediately. Stop, sit down, lie down, cease activity, and breathe. Just breathe. 3 deep breaths, slow inhales, slower exhales, and with each breath, say internally, I am tired, and that's okay. I am human, and that's beautiful. I need rest, and that's wisdom. Acknowledge it, accept it, honor it. Don't fight it, don't shame it, don't pretend it's not there. Just see it, name it, and then invite me into it. Jesus, you see this tiredness, you're here with me in it. I'm not alone in this, help me know what to do next. And then listen, wait, be still, and I will show you. Sometimes it's sleep, sometimes it's a walk, sometimes it's saying no to something, sometimes it's asking for help, sometimes it's just sitting quietly for 10 minutes. But whatever it is, I'll show you, I'll guide you, I'll lead you into the rest you specifically need in that specific moment. And you nod, understanding, receiving. This isn't a formula, it's a relationship. It's not a technique, it's a trust. It's not a system, it's a surrender. To Him, to His leading, to His wisdom, about what your tired soul needs most. And one more thing, Jesus adds, His thumb tracing circles on the back of your hand. When you're tired, truly tired, bone deep exhausted tired, that's not the time to make big decisions. That's not the time to solve complex problems. That's not the time to have difficult conversations. Fatigue makes everything look darker, harder, more hopeless than it really is. So when you're exhausted, give yourself grace. Lower your expectations. Simplify your demands. And trust. Trust that after rest, after sleep, after renewal, things will look different, feel different, be different, be different. Don't make permanent decisions based on temporary exhaustion. Don't write the story of your life from the chapter of your tiredness. Rest first, decide later. Sleep now, solve tomorrow. Rest first, decide later. Sleep now, solve tomorrow. The words become a mantra, a prayer, a permission slip, a gift. Your breathing has become so slow now, so rhythmic, so synchronized with Jesus's breathing. In, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, and with each cycle, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, and with each cycle, you descend deeper, not into unconsciousness, but into a different kind of consciousness, a resting consciousness, a peaceful awareness, a held knowing. You're aware of Jesus beside you, aware of the fire's warmth, aware of the earth beneath you, aware of the stars above, but it's all distant, all filtered through layers of peace, layers of rest, layers of divine love, wrapping you like blankets, like arms, like wings. Now I'm going to tell you something that might surprise you. Jesus whispers, and even though His voice is quiet, you hear every word with perfect clarity. Rest is spiritual warfare. Rest is resistance. Rest is rebellion against a world that wants to consume you, exhaust you, deplete you until there's nothing left. When you rest, when you stop, when you say, I'm too tired and I'm going to honor that, you are making a profound declaration. You are saying, I am not a machine. I am not a resource to be used up. I am not defined by my productivity. I am a beloved child of God, worthy of care, worthy of rest, worthy of peace, regardless of what I accomplish. And beloved, that is revolutionary, that is powerful, that is an act of faith more profound than any amount of striving could ever be. Rest as warfare, rest as resistance, rest as rebellion. The concept explodes in your mind like fireworks, like sunrise, like revelation. You're not being lazy when you rest. You're not being weak. You're not being unspiritual. You're being obedient. You're being wise. You're being countercultural in the most important way. You're declaring that your worth is not earned. It's given. Your value is not produced. It's inherent. Your belovedness is not conditional. It's eternal. God rested on the seventh day, Jesus continues. Not because He was tired, Not because he needed to, but to establish a pattern, to set an example, to declare that rest is holy, rest is sacred, rest is built into the very fabric of creation. If God rested, if I rested during my time on earth, then you, beloved, you are not only allowed to rest, you are commanded to rest, invited to rest, created to rest. Rest is not optional, it's essential, not a luxury, but a necessity, not earned, but required. And when you rest, you are not being selfish, you are being obedient, not being lazy, you are being wise, not being weak, you are being human in the way God designed humans to be, obedient, wise, human. The words reframe everything, everything you've believed about rest, about exhaustion, about worth. Everything shifts, reorients, transforms, and you feel lighter, freer, more at peace than you have in years, maybe ever, because you're finally giving yourself permission to be tired, permission to need rest, permission to stop, without guilt, without shame, without fear. And now another passage rises, another promise, another truth spoken over your tired soul. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. Familiar words, words you've heard before, but tonight they sound different. Tonight they penetrate deeper. Tonight they mean more. The Lord is my shepherd. Jesus speaks shepherd, one who tends, who cares, who protects, who provides, who leads. And if he is your shepherd, then you, beloved, you are his sheep. And sheep are not strong, not self-sufficient, not capable of surviving alone. Sheep are vulnerable, dependent, in constant need of care. And that's not a criticism, that's not a failure, that's just what sheep are. And you are meant to be a sheep, not a shepherd, not self-sufficient, not independent, but dependent, reliant, trusting. This is the design, this is the invitation, this is the way to rest. I shall not want, he continues. Not because you won't have needs, not because you won't experience desire, but because the shepherd provides, the shepherd supplies, the shepherd gives what you truly need. You shall not want, shall not lack, shall not be without the essentials. And beloved, rest is essential, sleep is essential, peace is essential. You shall not want for these things, because the shepherd, because I provide them freely, constantly, abundantly. Not want, not lack, not be without. The promise settles into your bones, into your blood, into the marrow of who you are. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, Jesus says. And this time when he speaks these words, you feel the full weight of them, the full meaning, the full gift. Maketh forces, compels, requires, because beloved, left to yourself, you wouldn't lie down, you would keep going, keep pushing, keep working until you collapsed. But the shepherd, he knows better, he knows what you need, before you know. And sometimes, he has to make you lie down, has to stop you, has to force rest upon you, not as punishment, but as protection, not as cruelty, but as care, not as limitation, but as love. And you realize, maybe this exhaustion, maybe this overwhelming tiredness, maybe it's not a failure, maybe it's an invitation, maybe it's God's way of making you lie down, stopping you before you break, protecting you from yourself, forcing rest, because you wouldn't choose it voluntarily. Maybe your exhaustion is actually mercy. Maybe your tiredness is actually grace. Maybe your inability to keep going is actually God's intervention, making you lie down in green pastures. Green pastures, Jesus murmurs. Not brown, not dry, not depleted, but green, lush, nourishing, life-giving. When God makes you lie down, he doesn't make you lie down in a desert, in a wasteland, in a place of deprivation. No, he makes you lie down in green pastures, in places of abundance, of beauty, of provision. Even in your rest, even in your stopping, even in your exhaustion, you are surrounded by goodness, held by beauty, nourished by grace. And you look around this meadow, this place where you find yourself, and yes, it is green, abundantly green, beautifully green, restoratively green. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Jesus speaks on, his voice like the waters themselves, calm, peaceful, gentle, still waters, not rushing rivers, not raging torrents, not chaotic waves, but still, calm, peaceful, reflective, waters, where you can see clearly, think clearly, be still, and know that He is God. He leads you here, not to drown you, not to overwhelm you, but to refresh you, to restore you, to give you drink when you're parched, to wash you when you're dirty, to reflect back to you who you really are. Beloved, tired, human-held still waters, you can almost hear them, or maybe you do hear them, somewhere nearby, gentle lapping, quiet flowing, peaceful presence, calling you, inviting you, offering refreshment, offering rest. He restoreth my soul, Jesus concludes, and his voice breaks slightly, with emotion, with compassion, with tender feeling. Restoreth, brings back, makes new, heals, renews, transforms your soul. Dear one, your soul has been so tired, so depleted, so worn down by constant demands, constant pressure, constant exhaustion. But tonight, right now, in this moment, restoration is happening. Healing is taking place. Renewal is flowing through every part of your being, your soul, the core of who you are, the essence of your existence, the deepest truth of your personhood is being restored, not by your effort, not by your striving, but by His grace, His power, His love. He restoreth, He is restoreth, He is restoring. He will continue to restore your soul until you are whole, complete, fully rested, fully renewed, fully alive again. And you feel it, don't you? Something stirring in the depths, something awakening, not with energy or vigor, but with hope, with peace, with the quiet confidence that maybe you will be okay. Maybe rest really is possible. Maybe restoration really is happening. Maybe your soul really is being renewed. Even now, even here, even as you lie exhausted and depleted, even now, restoration. The fire has burned down to coals now, glowing red and orange, pulsing with heat, with life, with faithful presence, and Jesus reaches forward and adds another log, just one, and it catches slowly, flames licking up the sides. New light, new warmth, new life, from what seemed almost dead. See this, he says softly. This is what I'm doing in you. What seems almost extinguished, what feels nearly dead, what appears beyond recovery. I'm adding fuel, I'm breathing life, I'm bringing resurrection. You're not as finished as you think, not as depleted as you feel, not as empty as you fear. There's always more, always another log, always another breath, always another morning, always, always, always. Hope. You watch the new flame grow, spread, illuminate, and you think, yes, maybe there is hope. Maybe I'm not as finished as I thought. Maybe there is fuel left. Or maybe God is the fuel. Maybe His strength is what burns in me. Maybe I don't need my own energy, my own power, my own strength. Maybe His is enough. Maybe His is better. Maybe His is all I ever needed. And now Jesus begins to sing, actually sing, His voice rich and warm, and perfectly pitched. Be still, my soul, the Lord is on thy side. Bear patiently the cross of grief or pain. Leave to thy God to order and provide. In every change He faithful will remain. Old hymn, ancient words, but they sound new tonight. Fresh, personal, meant just for you. Be still, my soul, thy best, thy heavenly friend through thorny ways leads to a joyful end. Be still, be still, be still, my soul, the command, the invitation, the permission you've needed all along. Be still, stop striving, cease effort, end the endless trying. Be still, and know that He is God. Know that He is good. Know that He is faithful. Know that He will provide. Know that you can rest. Be still, my soul, be still, my soul. Thy God doth undertake to guide the future as He has the past. Thy hope, thy confidence let nothing shake. All now mysterious shall be bright at last. He undertakes, He takes it under, He assumes responsibility, He carries the weight. You don't have to, you were never meant to. He undertakes to guide the future. You don't have to figure it all out, don't have to plan every step, don't have to control every outcome. He undertakes, He's got this, He's got you. All now mysterious, all that you don't understand, all that exhausts you with its complexity, all that overwhelms you with its uncertainty, shall be bright at last. Not now, not yet, but at last, eventually, ultimately, finally, it will all make sense, all be revealed, all be redeemed, at last. Be still, my soul, the waves and winds still know his voice who ruled them while he dwelt below. The waves, the winds, the chaos, the storm, the overwhelming circumstances that exhaust you. They know his voice, they obey his command, they respond to his authority. And if waves and winds obey, then surely your exhaustion, your tiredness, your weariness, surely these too must bow to his word, must yield to his power, must surrender to his will. He can speak peace to your storm, rest to your exhaustion, renewal to your depletion. He is, right now. Jesus finishes the song, and the last note hangs in the air, beautiful, haunting, holy, and then fades into the night, into the stars, into the very fabric of peace that surrounds you, holds you, sustains you. That song, he says quietly, it's been sung by the exhausted for generations, by the weary for centuries, by the depleted for decades, and every time it's sung, every time it's heard, every time it's believed, souls find rest, hearts find peace, bodies find renewal, because the truth in those words, the promise in that melody, the reality in that message is eternal, unchanging, absolutely reliable. Be still, my soul. This is always the answer, always the invitation, always the way back to peace. Be still, and let God be God. Be still, and let God be God. Be still, and let God be God. Yes, yes, that's it. That's everything. That's what you've been missing, what you've been forgetting, what you've been too tired to remember. Be still. Stop trying to be God. Stop carrying what only God can carry. Stop doing what only God can do. Be still, and let God be God. Let him carry. Let him provide. Let him sustain. Let him restore. Let him renew. Be still. Your body has completely surrendered now, every muscle fully relaxed, every joint loose, every fiber at ease. You are held, not by your own effort, but by grace, supported not by your own strength, but by love, sustained not by your own energy, but by God's infinite power. And it feels right, it feels true, it feels like what you were made for, this rest, this peace, this utter and complete dependence on something greater than yourself. Jesus shifts and you feel him gathering you up again, pulling you close, your head against his chest, his arms wrapped around you, his breath steady and sure, and he begins to pray, to speak words over you, words of blessing, words of power, words of rest. Father, I bring you my beloved child, so tired, so weary, so depleted, and I ask, I plead, I intercede, give them rest, real rest, deep rest, soul rest, rest that heals, rest that renews, rest that transforms. Let their sleep tonight be not just unconsciousness but restoration, not just absence but presence, your presence, filling every empty place, healing every exhausted place, renewing every depleted place. Father, let them wake tomorrow, different, lighter, more hopeful, more rested, more connected to your strength, and less dependent on their own. And through the days ahead, remind them constantly, consistently, continually, that they are not alone in the carrying, that you bear what they cannot, that your strength is made perfect in their weakness, that their exhaustion is not failure but opportunity, opportunity to experience your power, your grace, your rest, in ways the self-sufficient never can. Father, bless this beloved child, this tired soul, this weary heart. Bless them with sleep, with peace, with rest, with renewal. In Jesus' name, in my name, in the name of the one who said, "Come unto me, all who are weary." Amen. 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 The prayer washes over you, through you, into you, like rain on parched ground, like water in desert, like rest to the weary. Amen. So be it. Let it be done. Let it be true. Amen. And now another passage, another promise, another word of life spoken into your tiredness. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. The words from Isaiah, ancient prophet, timeless truth, eternal promise. Fear thou not. Jesus speaks them with authority, with certainty, with absolute conviction. Don't be afraid. Don't let fear grip you. Don't let anxiety about your tiredness, about your limitations, about your inability to keep going. Don't let that fear control you. Because for I am with thee, that's the reason, that's the foundation, that's the truth, that casts out fear. I am with thee, present tense, current reality, ongoing truth. Not I was not I will be, but I am right now, this moment, in your exhaustion, in your weariness, in your depletion. I am with thee. You are not alone. You have never been alone. You will never be alone. I am with thee, with thee. Such a small phrase, such enormous meaning, with not watching from a distance, not observing from afar, not aware but uninvolved, but with present, close, engaged, participating, carrying, helping, upholding, with thee, with you, personally, intimately, constantly, forever. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God, he continues. Dismayed, overwhelmed, discouraged, despairing. Be not, don't let these feelings rule. Don't give them the final word. Don't let them define your reality. Be not dismayed. And why? Because for, I am thy God, not just any God, not a distant deity, not an impersonal force, but Ti God, your God, personal, relational, committed, devoted. I am thy God, which means, your exhaustion is my concern. Your weariness is my responsibility. Your depletion is my problem to solve. Because you are mine, and I am yours, your God, bound to you, pledged to you, faithful to you, forever. Thy God. Possessive, intimate, personal, your God. Not the God of the universe who happens to notice you, but your God, who chooses you, claims you, commits to you, specifically, intentionally, eternally. I will strengthen thee, Jesus says. And the promise lands with weight, with substance, with absolute certainty. Notice, not you must find strength, not try harder to be strong, not dig deep for inner reserves, but I will strengthen thee, I will provide it, I will supply it, I will give it, freely, abundantly, constantly. I will strengthen thee, when you are weak, when you are tired, when you are completely depleted. I will strengthen thee. This is not conditional, not dependent on your worthiness, not based on your performance. It's based on who I am, what I promised, how I love. I will strengthen thee, guaranteed, assured, certain, done. Yea, I will help thee, he adds. Emphasizing, ensuring you hear, ensuring you believe. Yea, yes, absolutely, certainly, without question. I will, not might, not maybe, not if you're good enough, but I will, guaranteed, help thee, assist you, support you, come alongside you, bear your burdens with you, lighten your load, ease your strain, help thee, in practical ways, in tangible ways, in ways you can feel, and see, and experience. I will help thee. You don't have to do this alone. You were never meant to do this alone. Help is here. Help is available. Help is yours. I will help thee. Help, such a relief, such a comfort, such a gift, not having to figure it all out alone, not having to carry it all alone, not having to manage it all alone. Help is promised. Help is given. Help is here. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Jesus concludes. Yea, again, emphasizing, making sure you don't miss this. I will uphold thee, uphold, hold up, keep from falling, prevent collapse, maintain stability, sustain, support, bear the weight, with the right hand, the hand of power, the hand of authority, the hand of strength, and not just any right hand, but the right hand of my righteousness, not your righteousness, not your goodness, not your merit, but mine, my perfect righteousness, my complete holiness, my total faithfulness. This is what upholds you, this is what keeps you, this is what prevents your falling. My righteousness, not yours, never yours, always mine, given to you, credited to you, applied to you. My righteousness, perfect, complete, unchanging, eternal. This is what holds you, this is what sustains you, this is what keeps you from falling. Even when you're too tired to stand, even when you're too weak to carry on, even when you're too depleted to take another step, my righteousness upholds you, my strength sustains you, my power carries you, always, always. The night has deepened fully now, become complete. And you are cradled in darkness, that somehow isn't dark, held in night, that somehow isn't frightening, surrounded by absence of light, that somehow feels full of presence. God's presence, Christ's presence, the Spirit's presence, all around, all within, all through you, saturating, permeating, filling every cell, every space, every void, with presence, with peace, with love. You know what I love about night? Jesus whispers, his lips close to your ear, his breath warm against your skin. Night is when the world stops pretending, stops performing, stops producing. Night is when everyone, even the most productive, even the strongest, even the most tireless, night is when everyone must stop, must rest, must sleep. Night is the great equalizer, the universal enforcer of rest. And I made it that way. I designed it that way. I built rest into the rhythm of creation, day and night, work and rest, activity and sleep. This rhythm, it's not a suggestion, it's not optional, it's woven into the fabric of reality. And when you resist it, when you fight it, when you try to override it, you're not just being unwise, you're actually working against creation itself, against the way things are meant to be. But when you surrender to it, when you honor it, when you align with it, everything flows better, works better, feels better, because you're cooperating with creation, with the Creator, with the way you were designed to function. He pauses, and you hear the fire crackling softly, the night breeze whispering through grass, your own breath flowing in and out, the sounds of rest, the sounds of peace, the sounds of creation breathing. Tomorrow when you wake, Jesus continues, the sun will rise, not because you made it rise, not because you earned a new day, but because that's what the sun does. That's what God designed. Faithful, consistent, reliable. The sun rises, giving light freely, giving warmth abundantly, giving life constantly. And you, beloved, you are called to be like the sun, to give freely, to shine brightly, to bring life warmly. But here's what you must understand. The sun also sets, every single day. The sun goes down, disappears below the horizon, and the world keeps spinning. Life keeps going, everything continues. Without the sun visible in the sky, the sun sets, and that's not failure. That's not weakness. That's not the sun being lazy or insufficient. That's design. That's rhythm. That's the way it's meant to be. Work and rest, shining and setting, giving and receiving. This is the pattern. This is the rhythm. This is the way. And you too are meant to set, to rest, to receive. Not just give constantly, not just shine endlessly, not just work perpetually, but set, rest, be restored, so that you can rise again, renewed, refreshed, ready, not because you forced it, but because that's the rhythm, that's the design, that's the way God made things to work. Your eyes have been closed for so long now, you're not even sure when it happened, when seeing became not seeing, when consciousness became something other, when waking became sleeping. It all blended together, all merged, all became one continuous experience of being held, being loved, being rested. And somewhere in this transition, this threshold, this sacred space between day and night, between consciousness and unconsciousness, between effort and surrender, you hear Jesus speaking still. Or maybe you're dreaming his voice, or maybe there's no difference anymore. Maybe he speaks in dreams as clearly as in waking. Maybe he's present in sleep as fully as in consciousness. Maybe it's all the same to him, all accessible, all sacred, all opportunity to love you, to hold you, to give you rest. Sleep now, he murmurs. And his voice is like a lullaby, like a benediction, like a command that your body has been waiting for permission to obey. Sleep deeply, sleep peacefully, sleep safely, sleep restoratively, sleep knowing you are held, knowing you are loved, knowing you are not responsible for keeping the world spinning, not required to hold everything together, not expected to be inexhaustible. Sleep knowing that I am watching, I am working, I am working, I am sustaining all things by the word of my power, and that includes you, especially you, most tenderly you. Sleep and let me do what only I can do, what only I am meant to do, what I delight to do, care for you, watch over you, keep you safe, restore your soul, renew your strength, prepare you for tomorrow, not tomorrow's demands, but tomorrow's grace, tomorrow's provision, tomorrow's mercy, which will be new, fresh, sufficient, like manna, like sunrise, like my faithfulness, new every morning. Great is my faithfulness, new every morning. Great is my faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. The words echo, resonate, vibrate through your entire being. Great is thy faithfulness. O God my Father, there is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever wilt be. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. The words of another hymn, another promise, another truth, sung over the weary for generations. And it's true, it's all true. God is faithful, his compassions don't fail. His mercies are new every morning. All you have needed, his hand has provided. All you will need, his hand will provide. Because that's who he is, that's what he does, that's his nature, his character, his eternal commitment, faithful, unchanging, reliable, forever. And now a final passage, final promise, final word of peace, spoken over your exhausted soul before sleep, takes you fully, completely, utterly. The Lord bless thee, and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee, and give thee peace. The ancient blessing, the priestly benediction, the words spoken over God's people for millennia, now spoken over you, tonight here, by Jesus himself. The Lord bless thee. He speaks with authority, with power, with divine weight. Bless, not just wish you well, not just hope for good things, but actually confer blessing, actually impart favor, actually bestow goodness. The Lord, the Sovereign One, the Almighty One, the Faithful One, he blesses thee, you specifically, you personally, you individually, blesses thee, with provision, with protection, with presence, with peace, with rest, especially rest, blesses thee. And what God blesses, no one can curse. What God favors, no one can diminish. What God bestows, no one can remove. The Lord blesses thee. And keep thee, Jesus continues. Keep, guard, protect, preserve, maintain, sustain, watch over. The Lord will keep thee. Not just bless you and then leave you to manage, but bless you and keep you ongoing. Continuous, constant, keeping. Like a shepherd keeps sheep, like a parent keeps children, like a lover keeps beloved. The Lord keeps thee, safe, secure, sustained, through tonight, through tomorrow, through every day, every night, every moment. The Lord keeps thee, keeps thee. You don't have to keep yourself, don't have to maintain everything, don't have to sustain it all alone. The Lord keeps, the Lord maintains, the Lord sustains. You can rest, because he keeps. The Lord make his face shine upon thee. And as Jesus speaks these words, you sense light, even through closed eyes, even in deepest night. Light warm, golden loving, his face, toward you, not away from you, not hidden from you, but toward you, and shining, glowing, radiating, with love, with joy, with delight. God's face shines upon you, even in your exhaustion, especially in your exhaustion, most tenderly in your weakness. His face shines, approving, accepting, delighting. You bring joy to God's face, even tired, even depleted, even exhausted. You cause his countenance to shine, you beloved, weary, beautiful. And be gracious unto thee, Jesus. And something in his voice breaks, emotion, compassion, tender feeling, gracious, full of grace, unmerited favor, unearned kindness, undeserved mercy. Be gracious. This is God's posture toward you. Always, in every circumstance, in every moment. Gracious, not demanding, not harsh, not critical, but gracious, giving what you don't deserve, offering what you haven't earned, providing what you can't produce. Grace upon grace upon grace. Especially grace for your tiredness, grace for your limitations, grace for your humanity, grace for your exhaustion, grace freely given, abundantly poured, constantly available. The Lord is gracious unto thee, gracious unto thee, gracious unto thee. Such small words, such enormous meaning, such life-giving truth. God is gracious to you, in your exhaustion, in your weakness, in your depletion. Gracious, not judgmental, not disappointed, not frustrated, but gracious, endlessly, infinitely, eternally gracious. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee, Jesus says, his hand moving to your forehead, resting there lightly, blessing, lift up, raise up, elevate, his countenance, his face, his attention, his gaze, lifted up, toward you, focused on you, attending to you. You are seen, you are noticed, you are important to God, the creator of the universe, the sustainer of all things. The Eternal One lifts up his countenance toward you, toward your exhaustion, toward your need, toward your tiredness, and sees, and cares, and responds. The Lord lifts up his countenance upon thee, and give thee peace, Jesus concludes. And with these words, the final words, the ultimate gift. Something settles completely. Something releases fully. Something surrenders, utterly. Peace, shalom, wholeness, completeness, rest, security, safety, harmony. Everything you need, everything you've been seeking, everything you've been craving, without knowing what to call it. Peace, not piece by piece, not partially, not conditionally, but complete peace, total peace, perfect peace. And this peace, I give to you, the Lord gives to you, not the world's peace, not temporary, not circumstantial, not fragile, but God's peace, eternal, unshakable, reliable, peace that passes understanding, peace that remains in chaos, peace that persists through exhaustion. This peace, I give to thee now, tonight, tomorrow, forever. Peace, 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 peace. The word wraps around you like a blanket, sinks into you like rain into earth, becomes part of you like breath, like heartbeat, like life itself. Peace. You have peace. You are given peace. You rest in peace, not the peace of death, but the peace of life, abundant life, restful life, sustained life, peace. And with that final word, that ultimate promise, that complete gift, you slip fully into sleep, deep sleep, healing sleep, restorative sleep, deep sleep, healing sleep, restorative sleep, the sleep of the beloved, the sleep of the held, the sleep of the kept. And Jesus remains, sitting beside you, his hand on your shoulder, or maybe your head, or maybe your heart. It doesn't matter. He remains, present, faithful, watching, guarding, keeping, loving, present, faithful, watching, guarding, keeping, loving, while you sleep, while you rest, while you surrender to the gift of unconsciousness, the grace of sleep, the mercy of exhaustion's end. And in your sleep, in your dreams, in the depths of your unconscious mind, work continues, healing work, restorative work, renewing work, cells regenerating, tissues repairing, energy restoring, strength rebuilding, not by your effort, not by your will, not by your striving, but by grace, by design, by the gift of rest that God built into your very biology, your very humanity, your very existence. You sleep, and God works. You rest, and God restores. You surrender, and God sustains. This is the rhythm. This is the pattern. This is the way. The fire continues burning through the night, sometimes high, sometimes low, but never completely out, always maintaining some warmth, some light, some presence, just like God's love, just like Christ's care, just like the Spirit's comfort, never absent, never cold, never dark, always there, always warm, always light, waiting for you, ready for you, faithful to you, through every hour of night, through every moment of rest, through every second of sleep. The fire burns, God loves, you rest. The stars wheel slowly across the sky, marking time, keeping their ancient courses, faithful to their orbits, just as God is faithful to his promises, his character, his love. The stars shine, constant, reliable, true, and beneath them, held by earth, surrounded by air, warmed by fire, blessed by God, you sleep, you rest, you are kept, and morning will come, as it always does, as it always has, as it always will. Morning will come with new mercies, new strength, new grace, but that's tomorrow's gift. Tonight's gift is this: rest, deep rest, complete rest, exhaustion-ending rest, soul-restoring rest, God-given rest, and you receive it, you embrace it, you sink into it, fully, completely, utterly, without resistance, without guilt, without shame, just rest, pure rest, holy rest, blessed rest. Tonight you don't have to be strong, don't have to be productive, don't have to be anything except tired, and loved, and held, and that is enough. That is everything. That is the truth that sets you free. Free to rest, free to sleep, free to let go, free to trust that God's got this, God's got you, God's got everything, and you, beloved, exhausted, precious child of God, you can finally rest. Rest now in the arms of love, sleep now in the embrace of peace, dream now in the presence of grace, and know beyond all doubt, know beyond all exhaustion, know beyond all weariness, that you are loved, you are held, you are kept, you are blessed, you are given peace, eternal peace, complete peace, restful peace. Tonight,